On today's show, is Jason Tatum ready for an MVP run? Well, at least maybe an MVP fantasy run. But of course, we have thoughts about that. Let's get it going. Welcome back to the Full Court Press Podcast, where we pick up 94 feet and talk hoops the right way. I'm one of your hosts, Brian Joyner, joined as always by Ben Clark. You ready to apply some pressure to these topics today, Ben?
Yes, sir. I think you pronounced my official title incorrectly.
Oh,
Waiver King, I've been told.
yeah. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that
Yeah.
in later shows. But yeah, for sure. My apologies to anybody whose eardrums got blown out by that intro. Was it just me?
Probably just you. Every time we get back on here, my settings, I have to slightly adjust because that thing
Oh,
just bugs.
yeah. Well, good for anybody in a car with a lot of bass. So good for them. Yeah, but no, we have a great show today. We're going to do for the next several weeks. We're going to do division breakdowns, starting in the Eastern Conference, and then in particular the Atlantic Division. Got a lot of
the champs, right?
Yeah, start with the champs. Yeah, got a lot of interesting teams on here. Teams that are going to suck overall, but still have fantasy worthy people to talk about on their teams. I mean, pretty fantasy worthy, really. But anyway, I'll start with you. You got anything for me this week?
Oh man, I didn't come prepared.
Oh, okay. I got something. I'd like to start with a little bit of a remembrance for us as Mavs fans. The late great Don Nelson passed away this week, and for me, he was the first coach that I knew as a Maverick. He was hired in 95 or 6 and stayed until 2005. I mean, is Dirk even the player he is? I mean, he credits Dirk himself credits Don Nelson for him having an NBA career at all. And I just, I don't know that the Mavericks are any way, shape, or form the way they are now without Don Nelson. So it was kind of sad to think about. It's somebody people like that, like you don't really think about it, and then they pass away, and it's like, oh man, like what an impact that guy really had on me as a sports fan and just that team franchise in general. So I thought that'd be interesting to bring up.
No, good point. I agree. It's nice to reflect, regardless of if you liked him or didn't like him personally, and just being able to recognize their value. I think that's always a good thing to do.
No, for sure. But no, I thought that was interesting. But anyway, we'll kick it off here. We're going to start with the lesser of this division, the Brooklyn Nets, who probably may win 13 games this year, and that's probably
the playoffs. You mean they're going to win 13 playoff games?
Oh yeah, for sure. But in 13 games might be generous, honestly. But on this team, they do have some interesting pieces as far as like if you're drafting fantasy teams and you want to look for people that are going to produce on really, really bad teams. Well, they have two of the best probably producers on bad teams in the league almost. I mean, these guys, I'm talking in particular, Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle. I mean, these two are going to probably go nuts this year. Do you have any initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. And we'll kind of run through just for everyone's edification, kind of projected starters from the teams, and then a couple other players we'd consider drafting. But obviously, you nailed the top two guys there with Randall and Porter Jr., I think, in that order for me. Obviously, it's a team full of opportunity, and that's not a bad thing in fantasy. So as little as we're optimistic about the Nets as a franchise and as their season from a win standpoint, those two guys certainly, and we saw last year even with Porter being there, plenty of opportunity, lots of volume. So I expect a lot of that again this year for Porter. I do think Randall kind of becomes the 1A, if not the 1B, kind of right off the bat. And I mean, this guy loves to chuck shots out there. So 25 shots a game, not out of the question. I think 25 and 10 a night. We've kind of been beating the drum for Randall already, just saying like we don't necessarily love him and we don't love the Nets, but we love fantasy volume. So
Yeah.
I think those two guys are a good place to start. But do you see anyone else that has? I mean, there's plenty of other starting spots available. Anybody else stand out to you?
For sure. To go over kind of their starting lineup, but we what we predicted. It'll probably be Dioman, Brown Jr., which is a rookie, Dayron Sharp, and then those two we just mentioned, Randall and then Porter, with the potential of like Terrence Mann potentially getting maybe some run in there if like Dioman doesn't come, if he comes out and doesn't shoot as well as maybe he did last year or whatever. Maybe they kind of make that switch and let Michael Brown just absolutely run point guard fully.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting one. But anyway, to go over these starters, I mean, Michael Brown Jr. is always somebody I'm going to keep an eye on for sure. He's a thrower. He's going to shoot the ball a lot, probably along with those other two. But Dayron Sharp is my X factor here. He's going to get a ton of rebounds. He's going to get a ton of blocks. Could play a ton of minutes. I don't see anybody on this depth chart, not a single soul on this depth chart that can take over his minutes. Maybe Danny Wolf if they want to throw like a play more of a playmaker. Well, at least I thought last year he'd be a playmaker. Maybe he wants to evolve into that again, but because Noah Clowney's a little bit skinny and he's kind of going more towards power forward, small forward role than center. So for me, it's Dayron Sharp. That would be the one that sticks out to me the most.
Yeah, I've always kind of liked him, and I've had him in some dynasty leagues that, when he plays, he certainly produces, especially rebounds and blocks, like you mentioned. My only concern with him is signing Mo Wagner. I mean, not that he's anything special, but we just don't know what Brooklyn's going to do with their minutes, and they could chuck out a bunch of veterans like that, Terrence Mann and Wagner, and kind of steal from some of these younger guys that we'd like to see. But I do agree. I'm not fully on the Sharp hype train necessarily, but I think if he's the starter, which he should be, even if he's playing 25 minutes, I mean, he was playing less than 20 last year, and those numbers were almost streamable. So if he's getting anything over 20 minutes, I'm certainly interested in having him as kind of a low end center on your roster. That double doubles are certainly a nightly consideration. Points will probably be his struggle, but rebounds and blocks super valuable in our league. So probably a solid third or fourth option on the Nets.
Yeah, and I mean, for a team like this, who their only option, given their team construction, is to shoot 100 shots a game to try to win. He's only going to be able to get the opportunity is endless, really, for offensive rebounds and I put a lot of value in centers, and we'll get to that kind of stuff later on when we go into our like breakdowns and whatnot. But I mean, for a guy finishing center 27 last year, 22.9 fantasy points a game, projected to have about 23, kind of same, which that projection I think is a little low. I think it's just based on the fact that he averaged 23 last year. So they kind of like, well, we don't really know what to do with him, so we'll just stick him in the same range. But I think he has the potential to be one of your maybe second or probably third center on your fantasy team if you're a big center fan. I know not a lot of people roster three centers on especially one like Dayron Sharp who doesn't have a two-way potential there.
Right, but I definitely agree. I'm optimistic that they're going to use him more, and hopefully, it doesn't turn into just Porter and Randall chucking shots and then Joman shooting 10 threes a game. And if hopefully Michael Brown is going to get a lot of luck too, but maybe that helps Sharp in the pick and roll and stuff like that. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I do expect more than 23 fantasy points a game for Sharp. Maybe not 35, 40 like you want, but closer to 28 to 30. Certainly a useful bench piece for you.
And he might not even be draftable, honestly. I mean, we're going to get into some of these ones that are like late round draft picks. He kind of sits there maybe, but I don't think I'm going to use a draft pick on him. I'd rather take a chance on a rookie like Michael Brown than somebody like
for sure.
Dayron Sharp. But if he could come out in the first week and showing he's averaging 15 rebounds a game, and you're like, or in 2 blocks, and you're like, well, I got to roster this guy quickly.
Yeah.
But anyway, Igor Dielman is an interesting one too. If his playmaking can be what it was at BYU, it really kind of wasn't there last year. He showed that he can shoot the ball, which a lot of people didn't think he could do. And then it's just the team around him wasn't obviously great. So, and it's not going to be good this year. But he's got 2 shot chuckers instead of 1. So maybe that brings his assist numbers up. Somebody I'm not going to draft either, but I'll keep an eye on. Definitely streaming.
He's certainly a fringe kind of, somebody you might look to stream at some point, depending on how they use him. Fernandez is just so a little bit sketchy with his lineup selection to where you don't really know what he's doing. I mean, maybe it'll be a little bit more streamlined this year with some more pieces, but we just haven't seen it to be able to trust it to where, we project him as a starter. Doesn't necessarily mean I want him on my team to start the year, like you said, but I think really you're looking at Randall and Porter and maybe Sharp at the very tail end of your draft. But beyond that, I mean, I don't know if there's any other names that, like, I love Keon Ellis and I love Josh Minot, but I'm certainly not going to be able to draft them.
I don't know what, but for some reason, Keon Ellis, who I loved on the Kings, just, I don't know, lost favor, I guess. I don't know what happened in Cleveland for him, but maybe he gets a resurgent year this year. I don't know. Something to keep an eye on. 26, though. Did not realize he was that old.
Well, he's been kind of bounced around a lot of teams now, because he kind of has that value. Like, he's a steals defense guy. He can get you some threes and points, good in transition, but that's kind of his value. And so teams are kind of using that to get a piece that they want.
True.
Rather than him being the piece that they want. So I think he's solid, but he's nothing like, deal breaker for anybody. So he's able to move around. So it's kind of bounced around the last 3-4 years, feels like.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'll leave this one up to you because these next 4 teams are kind of all super interesting contenders, superstars on each one, really. Who would you like to bounce to next?
Oh, man. Last thing on the Nets, and then I'll pick a team.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Porter Jr. and Randall, their ADPs are projected. Porter's late or early 30s. Randall's right around 40-ish. I think they're 31 and 41, it looks like.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with those, or would you take one higher or lower than those?
That's a good question. I'd switch the numbers. I think I'd probably put Randall 31 and Porter 41. Now I'm not a huge Michael Porter fan, especially in fantasy, because he provides nothing other than if he scores 30 points a game, which he could. But Randall's going to get you assists and block. Oh, no, he's not going to block, but like rebounds and points for sure, and
double doubles,
and I just think that he's overall a better player than Porter is, and he's also proven that let's say he's been the number one on a team before, where Porter was last year and was his first year and wasn't good. I mean, finished small forward 17, which is, for a guy who had endless opportunities, should have been way higher than that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he missed some time, but point taken. And Randall, I would love to kind of get a couple spots above that. If he's going at 41, I don't have to get him at 31, but I do agree their values are probably flipped. So somewhere mid 30s for Randall. Yeah, I'm in on that for a 4th round pick. And then Porter, I've never been into him personally. So if he's there in the 5th or 6th round, then sure, maybe, but I'm certainly not reaching for him that high.
No, for sure. No.
Anyways, I'll pick the next team. Man, what a selection. Well, like I said, let's start with the champs.
Okay.
With the Knicks, obviously going from royalty with the Nets to actual royalty with the champs.
Right.
The Knicks have been kind of, at least to me, a very consistently boring fantasy team, or players that kind of make up your fantasy team. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, in my eyes, I'm like, okay, they have 5 guys, and that's all they do. And I know Thibodeau's been gone for a while, but I mean, really, is there anyone other than their starting five? And we'll go
I
through
mean,
them,
what?
but
Yeah, right. Sorry, not to cut you off, but like, yeah, they're starting five. We already know it. It's going to be Hart, Bridges, Brunson, OG, and Towns, and
yeah,
they make 57, 42, 37, 33, and 21 basically
yeah. I was
million
trying to
dollars.
do math on what that total is.
The whole 98% of the cap basically. So they don't have any money. They were like basically willing to give you a trash can to take their first round pick this year because they didn't want to pay him $5 million. And so that's how, honestly, that's how the Mavericks got Sergio De La Rey, is that
Hmm.
the Knicks were like, please, somebody, I don't want to pay this guy $5 million a year, so we
Yeah,
can't. So these guys are going to play 40 minutes a game again because they have no depth on this roster. Now we can get into it. I like the signing of Drummond. Uh,
wow.
he
Never
will
thought I'd hear
slide.
those words.
I know, but he'll slide right into the Mitchell Robinson minutes. He'll
Yeah.
get you a ton of rebounds, just like Mitchell Robinson did. I see him producing at the same level as Mitchell Robinson did last year, which was about what he averaged, 21, 22 points, fantasy points a game, which at an end of the bench center for you, it's okay, pretty good, I would say. Um, but yeah, we can get into the more meat of this conversation, which is who are you taking, Brunson or Towns?
Yeah, good question. So we're dubbing this "Who is the King of New York?" because
Right.
Brunson's getting all this credit for, you know, a great run in the playoffs. Can't fault him for that. So certainly deserves it. But I mean, ADP wise, Towns is going pretty much right at the same spot as Brunson, kind of late 20s. A lot of drafts, closer to early 20s as well, just based off the name value alone. Uh, I don't know. It's a tough one for me. I feel like Brunson, he garners a lot of the attention, but Towns has been quietly productive, especially last season for the Knicks. So he's somebody that, double doubles are a possibility. He gets some steals and blocks more than Brunson might, and he's more efficient from the field. So, he's probably not going to score as many points, but I don't know, fantasy wise, at least total points, they're pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, and for me, Carl Anthony Towns is going to provide, like you talked about, more, uh, I guess, more versatility.
Hmm.
In his game, he's going to give you rebounds. He's going to give you a few blocks. He's not a shot blocker by any means, but Brunson's not going to give you anything on defense. Really, he may give you a steal a game, maybe, but like
Yeah.
I don't even think that. So really, you're 100% relying on Brunson to give you points and assists, which he does really well.
Yeah.
But I think that's why a lot of people went with Towns, whose ADP last year was 10, where Brunson's was 21, is
Hmm.
because Towns is just, because of his size and because of who he is, he's going to be able to give you more production outside of just points.
Yeah.
And for me, when I watch the Knicks, I find that Brunson kind of will be laxed a little bit when he plays. He'll kind of like take a few possessions off, where I don't see that a lot with Towns. Like, he really does try pretty much anytime he's in the game, but he does have foul issues, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's where he kind of bites him, is that he has a tendency to get in foul trouble, and so he doesn't play as many minutes as Brunson probably would play. So just for me, and I like Towns for his versatility.
Hmm. Yeah, I do agree. I think last year they started to stagger his minutes a little bit more with some of the other big guys, Robinson and Huckporty, and I think that helped him quite a bit. He wasn't playing 35 minutes like the other guys, 35 plus, to
Yeah.
where he was low 30s, maybe high 20s on any given night, and I think that makes him a lot more effective when he does play. I'm not taking him at 10, like, that's way too high for me, but
Right.
maybe around the, second end of the second round, early third round, I think that's pretty reasonable for Towns, which is about where we ranked him on our last show.
Yeah.
Um,
20, it looks like.
okay, he must have been right on the fringe
Yeah,
then.
but he was right on the fringe. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about where I'd be looking for him. So if his ADP is higher than that, I don't necessarily need to reach for him there. But I do think I like him. I think for my kind of crafted teams, like you mentioned, our builds are just going to be different than most people. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for points and assists, Brunson certainly is your guy. But I think the main point is there is a great debate on who is the top dog in New York from a fantasy perspective.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's always going to be a debate there, but both these guys are going to play. I mean, especially now Towns doesn't have that two-headed monster center backup.
Mhm.
He's got Drummond, who is a downgrade from Robinson. But
Yeah,
so I can't see how they find ways to hide him on the bench for a while for long stretches. So
yeah,
ultimately, that gives fantasy managers more because he's going to be on the floor more. So it's
for sure.
it's it's certainly something to think about. But
Now the
Jake,
other three,
yeah,
I don't know if you have more on those two.
no, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
um,
I was thinking the other three starters, they're kind of up in the air too on who do you value most out of those three guys? How would you rank them, and where would you feel comfortable taking them?
maybe recency bias, but I mean, OG has looked amazing in the playoffs, and
Mhm.
especially in the finals. Scoring and his defense is insane, but his defense is one of those that like doesn't translate to steals and blocks. He's just an unreal on ball defender.
Mhm.
Um, so that kind of hurts a little bit in his value, but um, it might surprise you a little bit. I definitely value Hart very closely to OG because he's a
Mhm.
triple double threat every
Yep.
single game. Because he's going to get you that low count triple double, and a lot of times low count double double, where he's going to
Mm.
get you points and assists or points and rebounds, and every once in a while he'll have a 25, 30 point game or something like that come out of nowhere. Um, so I mean he's projected 30s. Oh wait, no, yeah. So sorry, projected in the I guess 10th round. Sure, I'm in on that.
Yeah. Yeah. If that holds up, then absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
they've got him in the all of them kind of in the very low 30s fantasy points per game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, his ADP last year was 51, which
Mhm.
I can imagine is probably more accurate than 95, where this website projected him.
Yeah.
Uh, which I'll say, not a lot of places are putting their projected ADPs out. So,
Yeah. Yeah. We're just picking what we have available at this point. But
right,
I mean, even say he's at the 50s, I think that's pretty realistic for Hart and maybe OG.
yeah,
I I do agree. I think Bridges is kind of the odd man out.
oh for sure,
Uh, he just he'll play 82 games for you, which like we've talked about is valuable, just getting that volume. But he seems like probably the least involved in the offense on any given night. He might have some 3-point explosions here and there, but he's not getting as much steals and blocks as he used to. His shooting percentages have been down the last 2 years. I don't know. I'm not as into having him on my team, even though I know he's going to get me 30 fantasy points every day that he plays. It's I don't know.
yeah, he's quiet, but he had the opportunity in New York, or he's in New York now, but for the Nets when he was
Hmm.
with them to really show that he could score the ball, and he didn't. So it
Yeah,
was like one of those things that, like, okay, well, you showed that when you had a chance to really be almost the number one option there, you couldn't do it. So how am I supposed to have faith that you can? Not that I'm saying Josh Hart and now OG maybe if he was on the Nets, he probably could average 25 points a game, but um, not saying Josh Hart could. But it's just one of those things that like I expect more from him, and then I'm
mm,
always slightly disappointed because he's not a double double threat. So he's
yeah,
just going to get you about 20 points and about maybe 4 rebounds and a couple steals, and that's where his value is. Where I'm going to value the fact that Josh Hart's probably going to get you a double double most, not most nights, but almost. He's
yeah,
probably going to get you a double double at least once a week, maybe. So
yeah,
that's high value for me.
yeah. They seem like they're running their offense obviously through Brunson, Towns, and then
Yeah,
I think Hart kind of orchestrates from the top, and then OG is a little bit more involved off ball than I think Bridges is. Bridges is kind of the guy that sits in the corner, cuts, roams around a little bit, but he's not really the distributor as much. So
Yeah.
I think I'd probably have him 5th, and I'm not going to really draft him on my team, but if I did, it'd probably be in the 6th round, maybe later.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think so too. It's also important to note that 99% of teams' scouting report is leave Josh Hart open. And so the Knicks are not opposed to just letting him shoot the ball as many times as he wants to, and
Yeah.
he will do it. So it's like there's value in that as well a little bit if you want to really
Yeah.
dive deep into that.
I mean, it's worked out for them as we've seen. So maybe
Yeah.
not from a fantasy lens as much as winning basketball, but you know, it's a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else on this roster you want to point out? I know.
Yes and no.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't. They just have they essentially let a bunch of guys walk because they couldn't pay them, and then they didn't fill their spots with anybody.
Nothing.
So I mean, obviously they kept Alvarado and Clarkson, and McBride's back. He was kind of a non-factor with injury last year, but yeah, it's like they got Drummond, and that's about it. So not a lot of new faces coming in, and the guys that they kept, maybe they're expecting Diawara to take a step, or Shamet had some good minutes for them here and there, but man, their bench did not excite me.
No, again, it's the reason why every single playoff series I was like, well, this is the one they probably go out in. This is the one they probably go out in. But luckily, Brunson and Towns and OG just powered that team through.
Yeah, luckily their $192 million starting lineup is enough.
They proved it. They proved that you pay your starting lineup enough, you can get there. So good for them.
Yeah, only because you're, best player, supposed NBA best player is taking $37 million, and everybody else of those 5, pretty much outside of Hart and Bridges. So he's making the 3rd most out of that team, and he's your best player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. But I mean, Mikal Bridges is an overpay because for what he brings.
Even at $20 million, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
or he's 33.
He's 33. Yeah,
Hart at 20 that's pretty good.
Yeah, 33 and 5 first-round picks. Whew.
Yeah,
but they won a championship, so it honestly it worked. So good for them. Now they can go another 57 years without winning another one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, cool. So I think that covered them pretty well. Yeah, my turn. I will go with the Toronto Raptors. Let's break that down a little bit.
Your
Projected
Toronto Raptors.
Mine is a loose stretch. I guess we have to talk about it again for the 90th podcast, probably in a row.
Grady Dick, he's the guy this year.
He's man. I'm in it. We don't know what's happening with Kawhi. Still, I figured they would have something figured out or hints to something what they were going to do, but the NBA is just dragging their feet.
Yeah, I got weird notifications about that this week.
Oh yeah,
there was 2. It was like the first one was, essentially Pablo Torre came out with some other thing that hit, and then the very next thing I got was like, Kawhi fully expects to be part of the Raptors, and everything's all good. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand what's going on. I don't think anyone does. But
man, Pablo Torre, that guy's he's been on ESPN for a long time, but he is making his career on this story right now. It's crazy, but so we'll talk about it as if both of them are kind of on there. But anyway, projected starting lineup, given the trade, it goes through is going to be Scotty Barnes, Quickly, Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, and then Kawhi Leonard or Brandon Ingram, one of the two. By far, for me, the biggest fantasy producer is probably going to be Scotty Barnes. No matter who they have, especially if it's Ingram.
Yeah.
But Scotty Barnes he finished small forward 1, 7th overall at 39 fantasy points a game. Just a two-way monster. He is an insane on-ball defender, but he's one of the rare ones that translates it into steals and blocks.
Hmm.
He's insane. I'm so high on him. If I'm mid first round in my draft, I'm probably taking him.
Yeah,
I can't over a lot of people that would be a surprise, but like
yeah. No, I think we ended up ranking him 10, but you probably might want to push him up to 7 or 8,
yeah,
something like that.
probably
Uh,
so.
because, like we've been saying, we think his shooting is going to increase this year. Like he's shown signs of it even in the playoffs last year, and if that goes up, that was kind of his weak link was the 3-point shot. Not that it was horrible, but just not as valuable as you'd like it to be from your lead scorer. So, and if Kawhi is sucking in their best defender potentially on any given night, it's really only going to open up even more for Barnes, and he'll probably be even more efficient than he was. So, yeah, I'm certainly not overly concerned that Kawhi is going to be there and take some of his volume because I think that'll just make him better and make their team better.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, no matter Kawhi Leonard is just one of those guys that like it doesn't matter what team he's on. If he's on the Clippers or if he's on the Raptors, he's going to do the same exact thing. I expect
Yeah,
him to get about 45 to 50 fantasy points a game, um, and so that. But still, are you willing to take him ninth, which is kind of where he finished last year?
yeah, no, not even. I mean, he's the one that obviously he's got the risk associated every single year. It doesn't matter if it's injury or this off the court stuff. So to me, if you're taking him, I'm taking him a round or two at least behind what he's projected at
Yeah,
because I think people are just they're very risk averse, especially on those first couple rounds like we talked about. I don't want anybody that's questionable to play at all in my first 3 rounds.
for
Maybe
sure.
round 4, then I'll start to think about, high upside rookies or second years or more risky guys. But first 3 rounds, no. As much as I do think Kawhi will be solid for them if he plays and he's healthy, I'm not willing to go there.
No, me neither. Quickly and Barrett, for me, don't move the needle. I probably won't draft
Hmm.
them at all. Barrett had a great season last year, but he's shown that he's streaky. He hasn't had a great career, so
Yeah.
I kind of expect him to kind of come back to earth from what he did last year. 33 fantasy or 33 fantasy points a game, finished shooting guard 22, which is not super impressive, but um, better than he was predicted to be. So,
Yeah.
and he opened up a lot for Scotty Barnes. So he had a great season. And then quickly was injured a lot of last year, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm still not moved by it. I think there's a lot of point guards that do exactly what he does, if not
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, and I did like him last year. Obviously, the injury kind of derailed that, but this year with Kawhi coming in, I do think it impacts him more than it does Barnes because those guys are just going to have the ball in their hands a little bit more. Uh, so I don't expect his assist numbers to really carry over as much as they were, uh, and they won't need him to score as much either. So maybe he'll be more efficient in what he does, but I just think his opportunity and volume might be slightly down. Uh, I mean, Pirtle was banged up last year too, so maybe the pick and roll will be an increase this year. It's hard to say, but I'm certainly not super interested in those guys drafting them unless I'm late, in the 10th round, ninth round, something. And I need another guard that I might roll the dice with quickly, just because they might be a decent team this year. They finished fifth last year in the East,
Yeah.
so I could see them. I don't see them in the top 4, but if everything goes right for them, it's not
If,
out of the question. So in that case, he is a solid starting point guard. Just fantasy wise, I expect him to be a little bit below where I'd like to see him.
yeah, for sure. Especially if Kawhi's on this team. I mean, they're going to be pushing for top 5. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
but I was
so do
gonna
I.
bring up Pirtle and Murray Boyles. Those two
Hmm.
are very interesting for me.
Hmm.
Um, what for two different reasons. One, what can Colin Murray Boyles grow in his game? Does he develop a 3-point shot? Does he put the ball on the floor more? Is he not just a rebound and shot blocking fantasy player? Can he get to about 10 to 12 points a game? I don't know if he gets there. especially if Kawhi's on the team. I think it just takes up a lot of shots. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on him for his versatility, and he showed right away that he's worth a lot of minutes. And then on the other side, Jakob Poeltl had a bad season last year. Don't get me wrong; he had a horrible season last year. But this was an anomaly year. Like, I don't know if he comes back if the back is healthy, if everything, he's got great touch around the rim. He's a good shot blocker. He's a great rebounder. I mean, I'm willing to take a chance and then drop him in the first week if he sucks.
Yeah, he burned me pretty bad last year, which, obviously you win some, you lose some. So he's certainly one of my losers from last year, but injury was the reason. It wasn't that he was just bad. So you could tell first week, second week, I think is when he went out, and the back was never the same the rest of the year. Even towards the very tail end of the year, it's like he's not 100%. So I would love to see him 100% because I do think he's a valuable center at that, probably my second center on any team if he's fully healthy.
Yeah.
Because I think just double doubles and, he'll get you a block, and that's pretty valuable for a consistent center. So
yeah,
I'd look at him probably in the 6th or 7th round if he is fully healthy. We just don't know that. So I might wait longer to draft him if he's still there, but yeah, I'm not trying to put all my eggs in his basket again this year.
He's definitely somebody where I'm like, I've got 2 centers on the roster now, and in the draft at least, I got 2 centers on the roster that I feel really good about, and then I'm sitting in like round 7 or 8, and he's still there. I'm like,
yeah,
well, I can take him or quickly, and it's like, okay, I think I'm gonna take Poeltl. I'll take a chance on him, and then move on from there.
Yeah, that's how I felt last year too. I was like, I got Wimby, I think I had a Sar, and I had some other solid center, and I was, Poeltl is perfect. Now I've got 4, starting center. This is amazing, and then he just sucked.
He was not good. 2 guys that we didn't highlight, but I am keeping an eye on. One, Jamal Shed. I do like his defensive versatility. I like the idea that they don't have a lot of point guards on this roster, to be honest. And so he's the clear backup point guard. He was the starter a lot of last year, averaged 19 fantasy points a game, finished point guard 32, which projected he was like point guard 80 or something like that. I think I saw on a website. So if he can provide 20 to 25 fantasy points a game, like I'm happy about that. Well, I don't think he'll get up 25, but like if he can hover around 20, I mean, he's worth a reserve spot at the beginning of the season or toward the middle of the season when I'm just rotating through those last four spots on my roster.
Yeah, especially if anyone's hurt. He's proven to be a pretty reliable backup. So someone to keep an eye on. Definitely Dynasty. I had him here and there, streamed him in for Dynasty, and that usually they're deeper rosters there. So guys like him can certainly be valuable.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last guy is Alan Graves, who is their rookie. He had a great summer league. He showed exactly what they were looking at and exactly what teams, the scouting report said. He is a 3-and-D guy through and through. He's not going to dribble the ball one single time. He is going to go run to one corner and then go run to another corner, and then that's it. But he blocked shots. He got rebounds. He shot the ball insanely well. And so for a team that doesn't – I mean, RJ Barrett's a good shooter, but a team that desperately needs shooting, I think he can easily carve himself a spot in this roster. And so he's one of those guys I'm going to keep an eye on as far as like if he starts to get 25 minutes a game and he's shooting the ball at 38 to 40%, I'm in it. I'm in on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm trying to think of, it was kind of like Dean Wade to me on the Cavs,
right?
When he was getting consistent minutes,
Yeah.
Somebody like that, there, you kind of know what you're getting. It's not super special, but it can be valuable at any point in the season when injuries happen and guys are in and out of the lineup. Like, hey, this guy gets out there, gives me 12 off the bench, 7 rebounds, and a couple assists. Why not?
Yeah, I'm in. That's easily 25 fantasy points a game, so I'm in on that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, somebody I'm going to keep on my radar. Not going to draft him by any means, but certainly keep him on the radar.
Yeah.
Now we saved the best two teams for last, I believe, the most debate on what the heck they're going to do and where you take these guys. We'll start. I think we're going to start with Boston.
Okay.
Because I'd love to hear your take on Jason Tatum here and how you think he's going to perform this season.
I think he's going to be top 10 in fantasy points pretty comfortably. I think we've dubbed it the Boston JT party because he's going to be just raining down from three, especially. I mean, there's nobody in his way to stop him from putting up 25 shots a game. And I mean, he looked really great last year, the end of the year, until he kind of showed some fatigue. And obviously, he's got the whole offseason now to where I think he's going to be fully healthy. He'll be just fine. But the team is completely built around him. He's got continuity with a lot of his roster, and then the new pieces that they brought in with PG and Robinson. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to fit pretty seamlessly. Boston always seems to hit on the things that they do, even if they're, kind of dumb moves in our mind at that time. Like, they just make it work. And I think Tatum being the alpha, as he always was, is just going to be right back to business as usual the year before his injury. Like, I mean, he's finished top 10, I think, every year he's been in the league, other than maybe his rookie year. So I don't see why that wouldn't be the case, especially now that his volume has only got the chance to increase.
No, absolutely. I mean, you got a guy who's coming off of a torn Achilles, who's going to come out there and in only like a month or two of regular season basketball averages 42.4 fantasy points a game. Like, insane. People drafted him like in drafts last year because he's just one of those guys that he does everything on the floor, blocks shots. He's a 5-tool player, if you want to reference some baseball. And so I think easily first round pick here, and with a potential to be top 5. I think for me, going into next year, at the end of next year, I'm thinking easily could win you your fantasy league easily.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think he's going to cost you, probably top 8 value. I think he's going to go closer to the turn. Some people might be higher on him like we are, where he'll go around 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that. But man, if I can get him at the turn at 9 or 10, 11, that would be awesome. Because the small forward is a position we've talked about. It's really hard to find consistency in the small forward spot. It's kind of like Tatum, Edwards, Jaylen Brown, and it's kind of fallen off quite hard after that. So obviously now Cooper, I guess he's got some eligibility there too, but it's a pretty slim position to where if I can fill that in the first round or second round and then come back with a solid big man or point guard or something right after that and get my scoring taken care of, I feel pretty good.
Not just fill it. I mean, he's going to get you 50 fantasy points a game. I mean, he's going to kill it. He might be I predict he'll be small forward number 1 next year.
Yeah,
pretty easily.
I agree. I think Scotty Barnes will have some words with you, but they're going to be kind of fighting for that top spot.
If I have the turn, they can fight for it on my team.
Exactly.
So let the battle begin. But yeah, no, I love him coming into this year. And I know I joked about it a little bit. I really do believe that he could have a actual MVP type season, given he doesn't have to share the ball with a single person on this roster. He is the clear number 1. Nobody's going to be whining and moaning all year long because they or wiping their hairspray on everybody. So you have a bunch of role players around a mega superstar, and look at I was looking at LeBron's numbers when he was with like the Cavs and stuff early in his career, like upper 50, almost 60 fantasy points a game at that point in time, which is insane. I mean, Tatum's got to be up there too. Same roster build, so I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, like you're saying, with him, with the opportunity being there, I'm like, he's got the narrative as well in the audience. With people love him. His name value to me carries more than Jaylen Brown's did, to where he could have a Jaylen Brown type season last year, but he's going to finish higher in the MVP voting just because he's Jason Tatum. So And obviously there's a little bit of unfairness to that, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't think it's far fetched to say MVP level season statistically and actual award. Yeah, I mean, there's some other guys that are gonna make it tough for him to do that, but top 5, yeah, absolutely. I think that's in the MVP conversation. So
For sure.
I'm pretty comfortable putting him up there.
For sure. But for the Celtics in general, kind of moving on from Jason Tatum a little bit,
Hmm.
projected starting lineup is obviously him, Paul George, Derek White, Robinson probably starts, and then we have Shireman, but it could easily be Hauser or Pritchard or any given person on any given night, given how Missoula coaches. He could honestly, he might have games where Jason Tatum's on the bench. Who knows? Like this
Yeah.
guy is crazy. But um, who of those starting lineup guys are
Hmm.
you excited about after Tatum?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I'd say probably number one after Tatum. I think I'd probably say Derek White still. Just I feel like across the board, he gets you a little bit more than somebody else is going to. I've never been a huge Paul George fan, as you know,
Yeah,
but I think White will just get you steals, blocks, assists, a decent amount of points, and some rebounds to where he's just going to contribute a little bit more across the board. I think George will outscore him, but as far as what he's got left in the tank, I'm just not confident that he's going to be playing more than 31, 32 minutes and shooting the ball. I mean, I don't know. He's going to get his probably close to 20 points, but he hasn't contributed a lot in other categories for the last few years of his career. And that's kind of what hurts him. He's always been that way. I mean,
yeah.
even with Indiana, it's like obviously he was pretty much fully healthy for the most part, but he's never been really able to tap into any other categories.
No, and then like you talked about, it's just kind of one of those things in Paul George's career. It's just been points, and then he plays 37 minutes a game, so naturally 6 or 7 rebounds just kind of go towards him.
Yeah.
And so fantasy wise, it looks really good. He's kind of been a little disappointing on like steals and stuff, which for a guy who's supposed to be
Mhm.
such a great defender, you would expect more steals and blocks, but he just doesn't give the effort there. And he just doesn't have the, I know I hate to be like the off the court guy, but like he doesn't have the I want to kill you mentality that it takes to put yourself in that kind of category that he wants to be in and thinks he is in.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's
I
always
don't.
been that mental block for him. I think since his big leg injury, I don't know
Yeah.
what it was because he had that in Indiana against LeBron in that
Right.
series. Like he had that for sure. But at some point, I don't know if it was a leg injury or a little bit after that,
Yeah.
he just kind of became a shell of himself, and it's unfortunate because I obviously he's very talented and kind of had that at some level, but I think he tries to get into that gear now, and it just doesn't quite get to it, and then it just doesn't look very good. So
That's an interesting point. I wonder if it also has to do with expectation. So this guy is
yeah,
like almost unranked in high school, so no
hmm,
expectation. Goes to Fresno State, no
yeah,
expectation for real, no expectation there. And then he gets drafted, whatever mid round, I think, something like that, mid first round, and goes to Indiana, who was a terrible franchise at the time. No expectation there. Brings them all the way to playoff contention. Um, then he has the leg injury, which sucks.
hmm,
I do
yeah,
understand that was a horrific injury. Nobody doubts it. But after that injury, he gets traded to OKC, where he's supposed to
hmm,
be almost the Kevin Durant replacement. Did not look good there.
yeah,
Then he goes to the Clippers, where Kawhi Leonard literally said, "If you don't get him, I'm not coming." So there's a lot of
hmm,
expectation on that, and they basically gave their entire future for him, and it's turning out to bite him in the butt, honestly.
yeah,
Um, and so the expectation was really high there. Never really did much with it.
hmm,
Then he goes to, I guess he gets traded for James Harden. Expectation is kind of high because they're still in like the trust the process phase where you have an MVP level Joel Embiid, who we didn't know at the time was going to decline rapidly, uh, and so It's interesting. It's interesting with expectation now, but he goes to Boston. No, not really. Not a lot of expectations there. So maybe it's his time to thrive. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I see him being useful for a fantasy team this year. I just how useful, I'm not gonna take him in the first 7 rounds, but
Yeah,
you could, he might provide you some pretty solid value if you're getting him in the eighth, ninth, something like that. Where
for sure.
I don't know, he can certainly contribute, and in that area, I'm still looking for more upside than maybe what he provides. But if he's healthy, he can provide you a stable output.
Yeah. One other guy I wanted to mention on this roster is Nemias Queta, who had a
Mm,
great season last year, 27.2 fantasy points a game,
mhm.
finished center 12, which surprised me a little bit. Looking at
Finished
it.
Portuguese one as well.
Oh,
Only
yeah.
Portuguese player in the NBA. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I didn't know he was
Yeah,
Portuguese.
kind of fun fact.
Good for him. I bet you he's a Ronaldo fan. Um,
Got some money.
but the way that Missoula coaches, I could quickly see Robinson becoming a very situational player for them because he can't shoot free throws worth a lick, and he doesn't do anything other than offensive rebound. So it's
Mhm.
like you would like to have Kata can shoot free throws decently. He's not like the greatest, but like he's decent. He can make them. Um, and so, and he gives you basically everything else that Robinson gives you. And he proved it last year that he can be a starting level center.
Mhm.
So I would, I'm tempted to draft him late just because I believe he has an established role with the team.
Yeah, I think he showed last year he's certainly capable. I think they kind of got off track a little bit when they brought in Vooch and kind of
Yeah.
changed the nature of the team around the trade deadline. But I think his availability and the way he fits their scheme is a lot more Missoula style.
Yeah.
So I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Robinson kind of takes on the same role they had in New York just for Boston, because
Yeah.
Keita is probably a better player for
Yeah.
their team. You could argue Robinson has more talent defensively and rebounding, but I think for them they're going to use him sporadically enough to where, yeah, I'm still interested in Keita. He was drafted last year, later rounds, and certainly produced when he played. So I don't see why they wouldn't use him similar to last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and Sanak. I'm interested to see if Sanak can shoot the ball like they project him to be able to, then he could easily take up over both those spots. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting. Those guys. I'm definitely looking. The rest of the roster is just like guys that'll probably play like 10 minutes a game, probably, and don't provide much fantasy value. So
yeah. There's no one else I'm super thrilled about. I mean, Shireman's kind of listed as a potential starter, but I don't know. He had flashes last year, but I think it was more just availability of roster that
yeah,
this year I don't see it.
nah, I don't either. Going on to the last team we'll cover here, the Philadelphia 76ers, who have a just logjam of I don't know what to do with. Uh,
Yeah,
I think pretty so the projected starters: Embiid, Jalen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and LeBron. Um, I don't know what to do with LeBron. We can get to him later. Number one on this team has got to be Maxey. Got to be taken first round probably, if not at the turn for sure.
man, you're that high, huh?
He finished fifth overall, and it's just
Yeah,
30. He averaged 46 fantasy points a game, projected to have almost 50 this year.
yeah,
Now we did knock him down a little bit because we don't know what his role is going to be with the team, and with bringing in Brown and bringing in LeBron and probably playing more two guard than point guard. So that it does worry me a little bit, but I'm just
yeah.
saying of these guys on this team, I can't take anybody else before I take Maxi. I can't see anybody else being taken before Maxi.
That's a good point. I agree. I wouldn't take anybody on this team over him. I'm probably more inclined in the middle of the first round to take him. I want to see how their offense is going to work, because I mean he had full run last year with taking shots, distributing. I mean, he didn't have anybody else around him essentially for
Mm-hmm.
long periods of the season. So I want to see how they're going to orient their offense around him, if they truly are, or if Jalen Brown or LeBron are still going to have the ball in their hands as much as they are used to. They may try to kind of do what the Lakers did a little bit with Luka and LeBron and Reeves, kind of implement that to some degree with those guys. In which case, I think that hurts Maxi's value. But if they're truly committed to Maxi being the guy, and I think they should, then absolutely, yeah, I'm with you on first round pick. I'm just not sold that they're going to do that. Maybe later on in the season. So if you're willing to wait a month to let it play out, then yeah, it's probably good to do that. I don't think his ADP is going to be in the first round. Do you?
No, I think it'll be first, maybe end, maybe like last
10,
pick.
11, something like that.
Yeah, somebody who has the 10th and 11th pick, and they're like, "Wow, what does it matter? Take one guy here and one guy there, and move on." But yeah, I could see that for sure. The next question is, who after Maxi for me, like, is it Embiid? We're under the pretense that we'd have to consider injuries.
Yeah.
Is it Embiid? Is it Brown? Are those the two? Is it LeBron?
I'd probably go Brown over those guys. I think just he's the youth is still there for him to where I think they can rely on him as their kind of secondary scorer and distributor right behind Maxi to where, we've been lower on Brown. We don't think he's we're fading him this year, but I think compared to the other two guys, I'm still in on him being probably a right around round 3 pick, maybe 30 to 35, somewhere in that range, whereas he's probably going in the 20s.
Yeah.
Early 20s, maybe. So I think he's going to be more useful to them in their team than LeBron and Embiid will, even assuming full health. But it's TBD on what full health is going to be for them.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's probably a guy in our fantasy team, our fantasy league, that's going to take LeBron second round or something stupid. So who knows? But I am curious on what kind of LeBron are we going to get? Are we going to get the LeBron that just like sits in the corner for all of the game, and then the fourth quarter decides he wants to like be like, oh well, I guess I'm the one that's got to get us over the finish line.
Yeah,
which he has a habit of doing, which he did last year a lot. But even last year, averaging 42 and a half almost points per fantasy points per game, finishing small forward 6. That's pretty good for a guy who in all regards probably had a down season.
That's a good point. I mean, it's hard to go against him too much, right? It's as much as we want to kind of. It's
the versatility. Unreal. His versatility is insane. It's just like he's gonna give you 25 points a game at 42-1. Like he's gonna give you 8 rebounds. He's gonna give you 8 assists, and he's gonna shoot efficiently. And it's like he's gonna get a steal, gonna get a block. He's just all over the place all the time, even at this age. And it's insane to think that, like, I don't know, he's projected to go like 20. ADP was 21 last year. So that's third round. I don't know. Third round, probably pretty good. I'd probably take him third round, honestly.
It's hard not to. I mean, I know he's probably going to be gone first round, like we've talked about in our league.
That's just league specific.
Yeah, but no, third round, you could at least think about it. I'd probably go fourth round personally. Yeah. But, if you want to root for him to have kind of a send-off, I mean, it's not his last season for sure, but it's, a send-off fantasy season, if you will. I think this might be one of his last useful years fantasy-wise.
Yeah.
Then go for it.
So the next question is, where are you okay taking Joel Embiid? For you personally, not like, oh well, I guess ADP was 51 last year, projected 14. He averaged 45.7 fantasy points a game last year when he did play. Yeah. Like, where are you? Like, oh, I can't not take him now.
Do you have a trash can nearby?
I do.
I'd look in there. That's where you'll find your answer. I've told myself personally I will never draft Joel Embiid ever again.
I never do it either.
Nothing against him personally. I've been burned, and I'm not gonna do it anymore. I just can't.
Did you take him last year?
No, because I established this rule 2 years ago, and I'm sticking to it. I don't care if he's top 10 in fantasy points. I'm not willing to take that risk because I do think he's probably going to go in the 4th round, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Which is a
Somebody's
respectable
going to be a
balance.
sucker.
Yeah, someone's going to want. Oh yeah, no, it could happen. And it's not me. Even if he finishes, like I said, top 10, and you're getting him in the 4th round, that's a great steal. I'm comfortable other options in that range, right around 40.
Yeah, for sure. Now there is a thought out there, and maybe you've got to consider it at least. You
Yeah.
take him, and then in the first week or two, he's averaging 50 fantasy points a game, and you're like, "Hey, everybody in the league, look at this guy. He's back. Like, give me, who knows who cares who you can get? Give me Towns if he's having a bad shooting
I,
stretch. Like,
it's
you
so
could
hard
try.
to
You could try.
do it though. I mean, you can for sure, and that's what you have to do for sure. I
Yeah,
just there's not enough, at least in our league. Maybe someone else's league, people are a little different, but man, people are so trade averse in our league that
yeah.
it's hard to.
Can't get
I
anybody to
can't
do
sell
anything.
anything. I mean, usually I can work some magic, but people, I just have a bad reputation, I guess, of being unreasonable with trades. But I mean, we trade all the time, so we have some rapport there. But
We trade the same players back and forth.
yeah, pretty much. So I mean, that's just me. Like I as much as I would love to do the work and try to offload and beat at the right time, it's not possible in our league. So
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe some people from the fantasy sports network will join a
yeah,
league and we can have a little fun with that. But
yeah, I
that's
could
for
swindle some of these new guys. It'll be great.
yeah, that'd be for another day.
Yeah.
The biggest hit for me on this team is VJ Edgecombe. He had such a good season last year, 33 and a half, finished shooting guard 12.
Hmm.
I just don't think I mean, he's gonna get a ton of minutes. He's
Hmm.
gonna be their number one defender on the perimeter. He's still gonna give you easily probably close to 15, 16 points a game, probably a couple steals, a block. So his fantasy value is there.
Hmm.
Worth a late round draft pick, I think, but it's just one of those things that like I gotta see it. I gotta see what they're doing with him. Can he shoot the
Yeah.
ball? Because he needs to be able to shoot the ball to be a spacer on this team. It's really easy for me to look at it and be like, well, they may look at him and be like, hey, you're gonna actually play more second unit ball than first, which could be
Yeah.
interesting, but which could
No,
benefit him. But we'll see.
yeah, I think that would benefit him, honestly. I mean, obviously, they'll probably want to run kind of their death lineup with him in it, but
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, if he's going to have fantasy value, getting him more minutes, he has the capability of playing 35 plus any night. So just the volume alone on that front
yeah,
could still be useful. I don't know what's his ADP sitting at, somewhere in the 30s, 40s.
yeah. 68.
Oh well, yeah, that's a lot further down than I thought.
Yeah,
It'll probably come up somewhere in the 40s, 50s, but I'd be okay somewhere in that range, 5th round, 6th round.
but they say 68, right? And then his points per game projection is 34, which is like, I mean, 34 points per game, and you're getting him in the 7th round is pretty good. It's pretty dang
It's pretty
good.
solid. That's
Yeah,
pretty solid. It's just, is he gonna do that again?
yeah,
We don't know that for sure.
yeah.
He was basically the 2nd or 3rd option for the whole season last year for them. So
True.
I think he drops comfortably down to 4 or 5. I'm just not.
Just depends on Embiid, but yeah, maybe five. But yeah, and then you
Yeah.
have Anthony Simons, who's going to come in and shoot the ball, and he's not shy, so not worth drafting or anything. Let's get that very clear. Just making the point. Contavious, I mean, Caldwell Pope is an interesting minute taker. Not that he's going to be a fantasy worthy at all, but just like for VJ, I mean, maybe LeBron's like, hey, I want some vets in here, which is exactly what he's going to do because he always does it. And he goes, Pope's my guy because they played together.
Yeah, they did.
I think they won
Yeah,
a championship together. Maybe. I don't know if he was on that 2020 team.
they did. Yeah, but when you say vets, he is the vet. Looking at
Well,
their
you're
age.
right. You're right. Which makes him even more of a candidate to be pushed. But
Yeah.
anybody else on the roster that you're interested in?
Not from a fantasy perspective. I like some of the other guys they have, but I mean, we've talked about Phylon being a potential off the
Nah,
bench kind
that
of.
was before the Brown trade.
It was before the Brown and the LeBron trade, so
Yeah.
that's kind of killed that a little bit. But
And
Dean
Simon
Wade,
signing.
yeah, Dean Wade
Really?
as well. I mean, I don't think he's going to get enough play time to really be relevant. We had 5 people highlighted, and they were all the starters. We had no
Yeah.
one else that were
No
like,
idea.
yeah, because we just got to see what they do. I mean, eventually somebody, like you said, Bona, he might be
Yeah.
kind of contending for starting minutes if Embiid's out, or rotating him in for 18 to 20 minutes a game, and that's potential to be serviceable. But
The
it's
hard part
not
is that there's no touches here. Like
yeah,
Bona is basically a screen setter on offense, and then he can get you rebounds, and that's great, and he'll get you a couple, maybe a block and a half a game. But like,
yeah,
you're not going to get any points. I mean, he may get lucky to sniff 10 points a game if he's getting starter level minutes. I don't see it
yeah. I
happening.
mean, look at it this way: there's no Bono without any touches. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants
Like,
that.
it's useless.
Yeah. Yeah, worthless. But yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting to see how that team breaks down. I'm keeping an eye on them. I honestly, to me, if I don't get Tyrese Maxey in the turn, I'm not drafting a single player on this team. I don't think so.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes.
I'm going to be pretty shy with the Sixers this year. I would love Maxey, but not going to pay first round value for him. So just got to see how the board falls. But
yeah, would you do it if you had, like, let's say you have 10 and 11 or 12 and 13, and he's there, and then Scotty Barnes is there, which I don't see Scotty Barnes being there, but or Tatum. Tatum could fall a little bit if somebody's a little scared.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in that position to where you have the second pick of the second round, so you kind of have to reach for your guy if you want him, then I'd be comfortable doing that. But
for sure,
if I'm anywhere before 7, I'm probably not going to get Maxey because he's probably going to go right in between that 7 and 12 spot.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But yeah, no, I think that about wraps up the Atlantic Division. I think it was super interesting breaking down those rosters and seeing like all the influx of what teams did and how it affects different players. And I mean, it's wild, honestly.
Then there's the Knicks.
Then there's the Knicks.
Real
Yeah.
quick, how many playoff teams in this division?
Is it hard to say 4?
I was kind of leaning 4, but
I mean, I think the Celtics make it. I mean, now the Celtics are a Tatum injury away from being disastrous again.
Yeah.
Well, again, I say that, but they don't have Brown this year, so the Knicks for sure, the Sixers for sure, and the Raptors I think are pretty solid to get in, at least play in.
Yeah, I mean 4 spots. I think that's pretty realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, at least one of them could make the play-in too. So if we count those spots, then definitely 4. But
I mean, if Kawhi's on Toronto, all this could be the top 4.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, who else? I don't know.
Yeah, Indiana maybe.
You got to hope Halliburton comes back the way he was before.
There's a lot of question marks. So yeah, I could definitely see those potentially being the top 4. Maybe Cleveland, but
Cleveland, Orlando, maybe. But Orlando always disappoints. But we'll get into those. We'll get into those teams probably next week, I think. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. As always, it was great breaking these things down, and we love getting the interaction. Please let us know what you think. Do you think that Jason Tatum can have an MVP type season? Do you think Joel Embiid's worth drafting? Period.
Who is the king of New York?
Who is the king of New York? Is it Towns? Is it Brunson? Is it OG? I don't know. Let y'all debate that. And then will Julius Randle and Michael Porter average more turnovers or points? All decide. As always, have a great week, and we'll see y'all next time.